Can you talk a little bit, David, being the son, and about the aging process?
Yeah, I mean, one of the privileges for me was getting to play that arc. I mean, Lee and I talked a lot about what we wanted to do with that, and we agreed that he was probably about 17, 18 at the beginning of the film, and by the end of it, he's 68. You know, a proposition I relished, but also, my goodness, how the hell do we do that on film as well? And in early conversations Lee and I had, you know, we both agreed that we wanted to have it be more about what's going on emotionally rather than relying heavily on makeup and things like that. Now, I didn't realize that Lee was going to say no makeup. In terms of being a 17-year-old. I mean, I thought you were joking. And
except when he puts his finger on your face and runs it gently down from the cheek.
Not so gently. Oh, he wouldn't do that to you, but to me, darling.
I would always check. Actors like to trick me to put makeup on.
So, but it led to this very unorthodox thing I had to do. Of literally, the days before I was shooting anything in my teenage years, I had to get 10 hours sleep. And then days that I was a bit older, I would get 5 hours sleep. And I learned this trick of eating very salty food, lots of salty food, drink a lot of water. The water clings to the salt and puffs you out. So, you know, the scenes where I'm with King, I sort of look a bit puffier. I managed that over a course of about 3 days. And then I would suddenly have to go younger again, so I'd go in the gym for 3 hours and just be on the treadmill for 3 hours to drop 5 to 10 to 8 pounds. And so.
Do that.
In 3 hours, I want that plan.
Oprah and I are thinking, wow, that's a new diet tip, 3 hours on treadmill.
Saunas help as well.
Okay.
So yeah, it was that kind of process. But we had this crazy thing where sometimes I would have to go from 50 to 17 to then 30 in a day because you shoot out of sequence. So, but it was a challenge to relish.
It was a challenge.
Yeah, it was.
James, will you talk about a completely different thing? Then we're going back to questions. We are going back to questions. I just want to kind of spread the love so that, you know, that some other people get a question. Can you talk about becoming JFK?
Sure. Well, I'll preface it by saying what an honor to play this character that we all know so well, and we all have a vivid image of who he was and what he stood for, clearly. So on one hand, it was daunting. On the other hand, it was one of the most special experiences in my life. And there wasn't much. We didn't have much time, to be honest. It was like a couple of weeks before. You're playing Kennedy. You got a couple of weeks, you know. But we did a bit of a prosthetic nose and some plumpers in the cheeks, sort of just like fatten up the girth of the jaw a bit, just to, you know, get that down. But then, you know, my thing was clearly everyone's going to want to hear the accent, and again, we know him so well, and he has such a specific accent. So, what the great thing nowadays is, you know, you can download all of his speeches, so I would listen to his voice and these wonderful speeches, not only for his accent, but for his take on, and to hear these beautiful, very powerful words, again, was eye-opening to me. And Lee was really wonderful in a way that he allowed us an opportunity to, knowing that we've seen the Kennedys be the movie stars that they were. We've seen them gallant and composed, and he's always the smartest guy in the room. How have we not seen them? What would an argument look like with them behind closed doors? And so it was great to have that opportunity to have a different take on it as well. They're talking about an argument that'll be in the director's cut that wasn't allowed in this cut. But there's a
How
great.
many hours long is the director's cut?
4.
4 hours.
Yeah. No, 3.
But
But there's a scene of them in bed arguing about something right before Cecil comes in.
Another good example of that is seeing President Johnson take a dump.
That didn't make it.
I think that's
that
really
made
what
it his
James was
cut.
trying to
That's it,
articulate.
yeah, that's the Academy
It's all about
moment.
perspective.
It's always Lee pushing the envelope.
Okay, I want to take questions. Where's the mic now?
Yeah.